Well, hello, happy Sunday. This is a bonus video. Right? I did my weekly video. But I have a couple to make up for because there were a couple of weeks, right, when I was in Hawaii and visiting my mom and stuff that I missed a couple of my weekly videos. So I decided to do just a little bonus video today. So I want to talk about facing fear, right? And facing your fear. And, I'm sure you've already heard like face your fear and do it anyway, right? And why do we say that? Or why is that something that we would want to embrace in our life? Because fear, there's a lot of, acronyms out there, false evidence appearing real. But fear, what is fear? Fear is like that anxious feeling that you have in your body when you're getting ready to do something like you've never done before. Just think of that. Like, right? You can have that feeling of anxiety, anxiousness rising within you when you're getting ready to do something you've never done before. And then if there are people that are witnessing this, it could be a little bit challenging for you, right? Because then you get a little nervous, right? Because there is this thing inside of us that we want to show up and look good. Right? Well, the reality of it is we're all humans. And I have to be honest and tell you that the first time that you do anything, it's probably not going to be all good. Well, wait a minute. Let me take that back. It is going to be all good, but what it's going to be is it's not going to come out the way that you intended it to. Why? Because it's our first run, and we have to do that in order to learn. So, whenever I do something for the very first time, and I'm getting ready to like there's that voice that comes up inside of me and says, no, no, don't do this, you're not ready. Well, the only way that we can really get ready is by doing it, and then we can look at our outcome and see what worked and what didn't work, and then we can make different choices. But without ever doing it, then we're just working with a whole bunch of ideas that could or could not possibly come true. So the way that you can squelch all of that is just do it anyway. Just face your fear and do it anyway. And there's power in this because most of the time when we face our fear and we do it anyway, we realize, wow, I was afraid of that. Like, really? Wow, it definitely wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. And then we learn from that. We learn that sometimes our mind, the voice inside of our head overreacts to what's happening in our experience. I think probably the thing that people fear the most is dying, right? So, like, just think about it. Today, we did our Sunday celebration, Bob, right, on Bob Baker's affirmation channel on YouTube. And we presented a song that we just basically crafted yesterday. So it was really kind of new to me, right? And there were some vocal pieces that I just wasn't too sure about as far as like where my notes come in and things like that. And I am kind of particular because I've been judged by my vocal singing in the past. And so I'm very sensitive to making sure that I'm doing a really, really great presentation, right? But Bob was encouraging me, and I'm certain that I could have talked him into doing it and waiting a week, and we could do it next week when I felt more comfortable. But there's something about moving into that state of uncomfortability, right, where you're not feeling comfortable, and just kind of pushing yourself through that, right? So the butterflies and all the jitteries and all that stuff are coming up, right? And the reality of it is that even during the song, as I was kind of questioning whether or not I knew what my notes were, things like that, when I did the execution of it, actually, I did a really great job. Bob said, "Oh my gosh, you hit it perfectly." But it's the fear, it's that worm of fear that was running in my mind. Now, had I succumbed to that fear and that voice in my head, I could have easily just said, I'm just not ready. I need to wait until I feel better about this, until I feel like I have more command of the song, right? And yeah, I could have done that. However, by doing it today and by facing my fear in a really brave and courageous way, I learned a lot of things. I learned that I know the song more than I thought I did, you know? And I also allowed myself to be extremely vulnerable on our live YouTube video, right? Allowed myself to just really be vulnerable. And like I said, I've been judged in the past over my singing voice. And let me also say, I know that I don't have a let's say, how do we say it? I know that my voice is beautiful. I know that my voice is powerful, but my voice is very unique. It's kind of deep and, you know, and just it is, unlike anyone else's. And so when this vocal coach heard my voice for the first time and it being so unlike anyone else's, she did not like it. This was not something that she was accustomed to working with. And that's okay. Now, if I had been so overly concerned about what someone else thought of my singing, and this was probably 10 years, probably longer than that, maybe 12 years ago, that could have stopped me in my tracks and stopped me from singing. If I would have listened to her because she's an expert, she trains vocal students. Right? Um, However, I wasn't going to go and be on Broadway, or I wasn't going to go and try out for musical theater or anything like that. Right? I was looking for how it is that I could use my voice to deliver powerful messages that would allow people's hearts to open and that they could experience themselves in a very divine and sacred way. That was my intention. So even though she told me I couldn't sing, it didn't stop me. It was just her opinion of my voice. It doesn't make it true. Just because people think things or they say things, it doesn't make them true. So she said I was a bad singer and that no one wanted to hear a sound like that ever coming out of anyone's mouth. Well, I can tell you, I have tons and tons of feedback that speaks otherwise. And there are many, many people who have heard my voice and have heard my message through my voice and have been really blessed by it. So, I faced my fear. Oh, but then after I had that lesson with her, now I had the fear of I have a voice that no one wants to hear. But did I let that stop me? No. I continued on my journey. I continued to sing. I got better. And you know what? Even now today, there's still so much more room for improvement. Right? So I get to play in the universe. I get to play with my fear. I get to play with my vulnerability, right, and how it is that I show up. And we're all so like, yes, we're spiritual divine beings. Yes, yes, yes. And we inhabit this physical body, you know? And we have this perception that there are others that are out there that are looking at us. And really, in my experience and how I see the world, that's not true. It's all one thing. It's all different aspects of life, of being, right? Experiencing same or similar things together. So so I'm grateful. I wanted to come and share a little bit about fear. If you're facing fear, there's something that's got you really kind of knotted up in fear and you're afraid to move forward, I'd say just do it anyway. Just do it anyway. Because when you activate your intention, what happens is you see a clear result. And maybe you get the result that you were looking for, right? That's very rare that happens. Very rare. Most of the time, the result that we get is something that we could never have even imagined. And so think about what it is, that you're afraid of and step into that fear and just be courageous and be brave. And I think that you'll surprise yourself. And what's probably the most powerful thing that happens when we do these kinds of exercises with ourselves is that we build a strong constitution of confidence, self acceptance, appreciation, and deep forgiveness, forgiveness for ourselves, right? And so it's really, really beautiful. So I just want you to just take that in, think about your fears. How can you overcome them? How can you show up and really dive into your fears in a new, brave, and courageous way and activate confidence, self assuredness, right? And really begin to feel your magnificence, your power, your wisdom, your beauty, your divinity. Yeah. Mm. So I'm going to close now, but I want to say have a beautiful, beautiful, amazing week. I look forward to being with you again and sharing more. If this message serves you, beautiful. If it doesn't, move along, right? Because everything's not here for everybody, right? And that's something that we get to learn as well. So I'm not saying that I'm speaking an ultimate truth. I'm just sharing with you what I found to be true for me. And it may work for you and it may not. So I'm just pointing at things like, hey, look at that. Oh, look at that. What do you think? What do you think about that? And just take a look. And if you're open, you might discover something new about yourself. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful journey, this unfolding, this becoming. So, mm, so I say to you in closing, be love, be loved, beloved. And I'll see you again soon.